You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Extreme Weight Loss After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Extreme Weight Loss After Show.
Welcome, everybody, to Season 3, Episode 7 of Extreme Weight Loss. I am Lauren Mendoza, your host, if you haven't joined us before, and this is our other host,
Lina Green.
Lina Green. And Lina picked this song very appropriately for this particular episode because, as you guys saw with Trina, it was like a constant circle with her. Yeah, let's get right into the episode. So we meet Trina. Trina is 46, so I think maybe the oldest contestants we've had so far. And Trina kind of goes right into her story. Growing up as a child at 12 years old, her parents get divorced, and that seems to be like her kickoff, like what kind of spiraled her into her. Exactly.
Her overeating and her father dying, becoming homeless, and getting a tumor and dying. That was like a catalyst for her binge eating and the way she helped herself through these issues that she was having, dealing with her grieving.
Yeah, I mean, and when she talks about her parents' divorce, she said that she was forced to live with her mom, which already tells you they weren't getting along to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the relationship between her and her mom throughout the episode, it was shaky, but it just seemed, at first it seemed like she was just making fun and poking fun and trying to be lighthearted, but then the real issues unscaled themselves.
I know. We were talking about this while we were watching the episode, you and and like, I don't know, right when I saw that mom, I was like, how can she say these things? Like, I think Trina talks about a time when she was younger and wanting to go out to eat with her girlfriends, and her mom was like, basically, you should not eat. Like, you're too fat. You shouldn't eat. And you were like, oh, whatever. Families joke like that.
My mom said she did a little joke where she was like, I don't want fat kids. So she was like, y'all need to lose weight. And, you at the time, it's like, oh, Mom, why do you say that? But you get over it. Some people deal with different ways. And I guess her mom was more.
But don't you think, too, because you are fit, you're healthy, you're athletic, and then you can naturally brush that off because you know that's not the truth. Whereas if you really felt that about yourself, it would be a lot worse. And I don't know, this lady, this mother,
she did.
I didn't like her from the beginning.
She antagonized her a lot. And that's a hard thing to go through, dealing with your weight. She was teased as a child in school. Yeah. And then your mom is constantly teasing you, too, and bullying you.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Like, you can't, if you're going to get teased at school and by your peers, like, the last place you should have to have that kind of bullying should be from your family. I mean, even if, as a child, she needs to lose weight, it's supposed to be your mom that's supporting you to do it.
I don't know, but it felt like to me like not that she liked the bullying, but she needed it to say, well, this is why I eat, which I think she would have still did that, binged eat and stuff.
But do you think it's an excuse?
She's just pointing fingers. A lot of excuses throughout the episode. We saw that. Right. So I think it was just her pointing another finger.
Yeah. So Trina is a nurse, which we find out from Chris Powell that's actually, I think,
a field, where there's a lot of obesity. It's one of the highest obesities.
That was interesting to me.
Yeah,
people in the healthcare profession, it's like you would think they would be
take care of themselves. Yeah. It's the healthcare you're taking care of other people who need you. You would think that you take care of yourself, but it's not first respect.
You see firsthand the effects of not taking care of yourself. You see the dangers that can come from that. You would think it would be a little bit of an eye-opener, but maybe they get numb to it. Maybe they just don't think about it. I don't know.
That's
a whole other show.
Real question.
Exactly.
You just hit the nail with the whatever.
Well, thank you.
Saying.
Thank you. That's what I try to do here.
I suck at sayings for some reason.
Okay.
I always mess them up.
I just hit the nail. We're just going to say that.
Yeah.
So we meet Trina. We go to her profession, and that's actually where Chris comes in and surprises her. And she's overcome with emotion. Almost, I kind of was.
It was I don't even want to go on her emotion because that's like all throughout the whole episode.
Yeah.
It's a lot of ups, downs,
Yeah.
cryings. But he kind of embarrassed her when I see what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
But that's embarrassing.
You mean in weighing her?
Weighs her
okay.
in front of everyone.
Well, yeah, I think you and I were both sitting there thinking, are you kidding me? He's going to weigh her in front of everybody.
Everyone. She was thinking that too.
Because he's never done that before. This is the first time we saw this on that particular, on this show, where he doesn't take them to like California and weigh them on the freight scale. This time he's like, are you ready to get weighed in? And she's like, oh, sure. And I think even she was kind of surprised, like, oh, we're doing this right now. But she kind of went for it. She acted excited, which, let's be honest, nobody's going to be excited about weighing in regardless.
In front of your peers
and
that
then
you
in
work
front of
with.
your colleagues.
It's not anybody wants to do that. So
he brings in the scale, and then we're like, oh, it's no big deal because they can't see the weight. And then he says to her,
he covers it with his hand. He makes a point to cover it with his hand, and then he tells her to go write it up on the board.
Then he says, can I ask you to write that on the board? And she's not going to say no, or she could have, I guess, but she writes it up. And we're all thinking, oh my God, look, what if your colleague just like sees the number and goes, oh, and they gasp. Like, what would that feel
like?
like?
She knows she's overweight, so it's like, okay, I'll just put my number up there. It's embarrassing.
She feels like she has to. Yeah. Well, then it all turns out to be, I don't want to say okay, but maybe take some of the pressure off her, because Chris then gets all the nurses to get on the scale and weigh in. And I'm telling you, she was one of the smallest, I think.
No.
When we saw the numbers,
there was one woman who was 117.
There was one that was 117. So obviously she's okay.
Small category.
She's small. But then everybody else was pretty much in the 200 range. So maybe
we had the 400.
We had the 400. Maybe Trina wasn't. She definitely wasn't the heaviest, and maybe she wasn't the lightest. But she wasn't far off from the people that she surrounds herself on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. So I think that probably gave her a little bit of comfort. But in reality, it shouldn't. It should just show you how bad this is.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I thought that was really great that Chris got all of them involved in this, because then it turned into their journey as well, which we get into as we go throughout the episode. So she weighs in at 290. Like we said, Chris gives her the goal of losing 75 pounds in the first 90 days. So we see them go home, or we see her Trina. Well, actually, no, Trina? He comes home with her to get her to pack her things. And I thought this was a good moment because he meets her family. Her mom sees that she was actually selected for the show, which she was telling her that's not going to happen.
Who would say that to their daughter? I know she wanted
so nice mom.
She said she wanted to cushion the blow if she was. I mean, there was a lot of people who were there at the auditions, as Trina said, that there was a lot of people. So there could have been a slim chance that she wasn't selected, but who would say that?
What mother would say that? I mean, I don't know. Not everybody is a comforting parent. Everybody has different parenting skills. And for me, like, that just has never been my experience. And it makes me sad for her.
Trina's been with her mom for a while. So wouldn't she be used to that kind of negative comments? Shouldn't it
You would, but it doesn't help.
It doesn't help. But shouldn't it be like, okay, here she goes again?
I know. But God, could you imagine having to go through that your whole life? I would just... I don't know that, like, her mom I think lives with her from what it seems like.
Does she live with her?
Looks like her.
I think she does.
She's there all the time.
Yeah.
She eats dinner with them. Yeah. And, Trina is a nice woman for letting her mother live with her when her mom is so negative to her. Yeah. I don't know if I'd be so nice. But anyway, so we get into the episode, and I think this is a really great moment because I think when Chris tells the family what she weighs in at, the mom's like, I knew it. And Chris saw exactly what Trina had already told him about was her mother's negativity, and right away, basically said, it doesn't matter, what you think about, she can or can't do. This year is about believing that she can.
Yeah, and that she did get picked. And
she did.
She's going to transform by the end of this year.
Exactly. So, that was a good moment.
And her family, and meeting the family, who was very supportive.
And even Chris pointed out that, her husband was so supportive, which I thought was funny because when we see Trina, talking about wanting this journey and wanting to be selected by Chris, she talked about, Chris is so compassionate, and she really wanted his support, and she wanted him to tell her that she could do it. And to me, that it was kind of sad because her husband and her daughter are standing right there, and she's acting as if nobody in her life has ever told her that she's worth it or that she can do it. And I thought, what would that be like to be her husband that's standing right there? Does that make you feel like I've never encouraged her, or does it make you feel like I've always loved her and supported her, and it would bother him that she's not recognizing that?
Yeah, it was kind of like another one of the contestants that was on the show that kept saying she didn't feel loved, and the love was there, but she couldn't see it until the end when she transformed. And then she saw how at the end of this episode, she's like, my family is amazing. You see the love. She's like, they're amazing. They stood behind me. She didn't see it in the beginning.
See, with Trina and her just talking about how much she wanted Chris Powell to tell her that,
I think
it bothered
it was googly
me.
eyes Chris Powell.
I know.
She was in love with him.
She just wanted to squeeze Chris Powell and like cuddle with him.
Did you see how she hugged
I did.
him?
I saw how she hugged him multiple times. She cried on his shoulder. I felt like she just wanted Chris Powell around her. Personally, that's
cute.
Of course he's cute, but I mean, I don't know. I just was having a hard time buying it. I felt like it was a little dramatic for me.
I think she was just a dramatic person.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff was just a lot.
Ups and downs in this episode.
Overly.
Yeah, so Trina goes home. You know, she does some training with Chris, as we always see, and then she goes home, obviously, without him. And the best part about this, oh, gosh, she was like, shocked. Like, no, like, I did this to have you around me, it seemed like. Now you're telling me you're not going to be there. So she's probably thinking, what can I do to get Chris Powell back? So she binge eats.
Oh, okay, she wasn't thinking, what can I? She binged it because of the stress of life that she said. The bills.
We all have stress.
The bills.
This is
were
an
mounting.
excuse. This is an excuse. But one great part that we have to mention was when Trina went and was going to lead her colleagues, the fellow nurses, in like an exercise class. And who shows up but none other than the fantabulous Richard Simmons. And his nude tights and all.
You hated those nude tights, didn't you?
I mean, those are dancer tights. For sure. But how old is Richard Simmons and he's wearing
dancer
good.
Hey, he looked good.
He does look good. I love the guy. I love him. I think he's so fun and inspirational. And like, I mean, I can only imagine his class to be just like hysterical.
He kept making that joke that he looked like Chris Powell. They were like,
He's
no.
so great. They put him side by side.
He looks nothing like this guy.
No. I love Richard Simmons. So that was a really cute moment.
Yeah.
But then we see Trina go back at home and have dinner with her family. And this is where her binge eating kind of spiraled. She's sitting there with her family eating a healthy dinner, and her mom is like, can you eat that? And
she said she looks like an apron
she
or
said something like, Mom, can you tell, I'm losing weight or something like that? She's
my
like, well, you got your apron.
Why does she keep doing that, though? She kept saying, Mom, look, do I look good? She's egging for it. Like she
is, but I feel like she's so desperate. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like she's so desperate for her mother's approval, or she's egging it on to give herself an excuse.
Yeah, and that's where I was. Are you wanting her to say these mean things to you so you can give yourself an excuse? Because then she falls back into the binge eating.
Oh my God! But she's like eating,
not just binge
crap.
eating. This is stuff.
This was
3 chili dogs,
4 chili dogs, 3 cookies, and soda, and like
a huge large.
There are
soda.
times where she is admitting it and eating it on camera, and she does it almost with a smirk on her face. That bugged me. I didn't like that at all.
Really made me.
Of all these episodes of this show, I get so emotional and so attached to people, and I really feel for Trina. I really do.
I did. I cried in the beginning when she was crying and talking about her dad. I felt for her.
Right.
But you going home after all that hard work and binge eating and smell like I'm eating cake.
Yeah, it wasn't long before I stopped feeling bad for her and just kind of just getting frustrated with her.
Yeah.
That she wasn't taking this very seriously. So she binge eats and she's giving the worst excuses. She's talking about how she hasn't been able to get to the gym. I started stress eating. I'm not feeling bad. And this is all in the first phase, and she has taken time off of work, and she keeps talking about how she can't get to the gym. The gym has come to her. The gym is in her living room. Like, how do you not get to the gym? Do you not leave your bed?
Yeah, and she's saying she has no time, and she took 90 days off of work, 3 months.
I was angry. I am angry.
What is she doing? Where's this time that she doesn't have? Even they pointed out, they're like, she took 90 days off of work and there's a gym in her living room.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
It's not much motivation.
It's bad. So then Chris comes back to Trina because he sees that she is obviously not doing well. He gets a phone call from her husband, comes back, and then we see her son come in with fast food, and the family's around, and Chris says to him, points out that having this around, you're under your mother's roof, having this around her, is similar to addiction.
Drug addiction.
Yeah, he compares it to a drug addiction.
Smoking or shooting up right in front of a druggie.
Yeah. Or if you're an alcoholic, it's basically like your kid just opening wine, opening a bottle of wine and just drinking it around you. And I can understand that. And I don't think people really think of food addictions in the same way. Like they think, no, it's an excuse, or no, you can control yourself, or they just don't buy that. And I think that's really interesting because I don't feel like I can relate to a food addiction, but I feel like I can see that in other people, and I just think it's more serious than we know.
It is. And another thing I want to point, did you see when all that was happening how Trina was like, she stood back and she was like, yeah, it's his fault that I'm eating.
Yeah.
It felt like then there was being blame put on the kids now.
I just feel like she can't stand up for herself. Like Chris Powell's there doing that for her, and she's just sitting by and letting him because maybe she doesn't have the courage to do it herself, or maybe she doesn't want to because she wants the fries.
And how old were her kids? Where are they still living?
They're like adults. But the thing that bugged me is that as Chris was telling them, they were kind of laughing about it. Even her family was like laughing about it.
All the families, even in the past, were like, whoa, just because this person has to lose weight, why do we have to go through it? They don't understand that this is your family member. They need your support.
And I just think there has to be a compromise. If you're going to eat this way,
go in your room. You have
go in your room, or just don't bring it home. Like, just make a compromise for the fact that that's your family and you're respecting what they're going through. Don't feel like this has to become your challenge. Just kind of meet them in the middle and do that for them. I don't get it.
Eat 4 chili dogs.
And well, maybe they didn't see
laughing
her.
about it. Like, she ate 4 chili dogs, Chris. 4.
I know. They're just ratting her out too.
Yeah.
She's like, somebody needs to hold her accountable. But she starts crying. She's like, there's cameras in my home. Like, everything was so dramatic, and I just was not buying her excuse one after the other. Like, I just couldn't do it.
We'll see a change.
Yeah.
We'll see a change.
So basically, she checks in just to see how she's doing. She's lost 35 pounds, and so she's, on track.
She's actually doing pretty well for
Chris,
binge eating and
basically,
stuff.
Chris gets her back on track, and then we see her at her 3-month weigh-in. She had that goal of losing 75 pounds to be at 215, and what number does she hit? None other than 215 on the dot.
You know how you feel about this when they hit it on the dot.
I can't handle it.
For some reason, our brains can't imagine that they're hitting it right on the dot every time.
Extreme weight loss.
Maybe put a pound on or lose a pound for us.
I know. People are catching on to you. At least, like, even if they are hitting it on the button, like,
put
just lie a little bit so it feels real.
God.
Yeah.
Okay. We're done with our soapbox.
I know. Yeah. Okay. So this is when she's actually told that she's going to get that trip to the Grand Canyon. So she's won the trip for her family to the Grand Canyon, but she won't actually go until her 6-month weigh-in.
And this is because she went to the Grand Canyon some years ago.
Yeah, and couldn't hike it, and she so badly wanted to do it. I told Lina, I'm like, I think going to the Grand Canyon sounds really cool, but I don't know. Like, she was like, I am going to kill myself over this first phase just so I could go to the Grand Canyon, and I don't know that I'd be that driven to do it.
I mean, I would love to hike the Grand Canyon, but
everybody's got their own thing, I guess. It wouldn't kill. I'd be like, I'll eat that donut one day. Yeah, exactly. No. I don't know. So she goes into phase 2, and it's kind of cool because we also see the nurses weigh in as well, and they're kind of slowly losing weight on their own, which is exciting. And so awesome that Chris Powell is actually doing that. He didn't need to do that. He didn't need to bring them into this, and he did. And I think that just goes to show you what an awesome guy he is, and a genuine person on the show. He's doing this for the difference, not just for the show. That's how I see it. So that was exciting. So in phase 2, her goal is to lose 45 pounds in 3 months. So it's about a pound every 2 days, which For somebody that is focused and determined, they can do it, you know, and they have the weight to lose, they could do it. For somebody like Trina,
I was worried.
Her mother says one thing to her and she gives herself the excuse to eat a cheesecake or who knows what.
And she's always saying it's the bills. Like every time he hashes out of it, bills are mounting. My kids are doing. It's a lot. Or it's I visited
my
kid's birthday.
I visited my daughter at college. And I went to the movies and it's my birthday. That was in phase 3, but either way, every time it was just as dramatic. Whatever the excuse was, it was just as dramatic. So I thought this was an interesting phase because we kind of see, you know, a montage of what she's going through. One little clip that we see is her basically on a treadmill in like a moo-moo. I didn't buy that either. I thought she's not really working out. She just got on that treadmill for the shot.
Yeah, how's she running?
She was really sleeping, and she's like, I'm just going to get on the treadmill in my moo-moo.
But when she first started her phase, when she was on that little elliptical thing, and her daughter came and turned it up.
Turn it up. She's like, ooh.
She was literally going like this. Like, I mean, not going at all, like going really slowly.
Yeah. And then another sad moment in this is we cut to her mom, and she's asking her mom, you're right, asking her mom once again about her progress, and her mom's like, it's all flopping around. Like she's basically talking about
losing weight.
She's like, your skin's all flopping around all over the place. And I'm like, she's basically saying you're losing weight, so you have this extra skin. Can we turn this around to a positive lady? Yeah. Like this lady has no clue how to speak to her daughter in a positive way. And sometimes I'm watching her and I'm thinking, is she just jealous? Like she doesn't want to see the success of her own daughter that she...
I don't know if it's jealousy or I want this for my daughter so much, but I've seen her backslide so much. She's done in the beginning. How many diets have she done? And she was on a diet when Chris began working with her.
You're right.
Points.
She had all her food labels. They didn't tell us
what system she was on.
But we all know what the point system is.
The point system. And it wasn't working. So maybe it was like, maybe if I push you, say enough things, maybe you'll get motivated and try to prove me wrong.
I totally think people have that all like so mixed up and twisted in their head and how to like motivate somebody.
I mean, it's different for
not
everyone.
The way to do it.
You can tell that is not the way to motivate Trina.
But it's not the way to motivate anybody. I mean, we saw that in one of the other episodes. Remember the brother and sister earlier in the season, and their dad was
their dad was nice to them.
You are just giving everybody excuses. You're right. He did.
He put a gym and said, get on the, and they got mad about that. Okay.
He did. About them. No, you're totally right. He did.
Just said, get on the equipment.
But then they tease them. Like that is the way they do it. They don't like say, you can do it. They never say anything that's encouraging or like, hey, I believe in you.
So I'm more like,
I guess I didn't.
My empathy level is like lower. So
I had parents that pushed me and like, didn't let me make excuses, but they didn't let me make excuses because they knew that I could do it. And it wasn't like saying, you know, you're being lazy or like, or you can't do it. Cause they're basically, her mom is telling her that she can't do it. She said, you're not going to be the one to get picked. You know, she's not saying anything encouraging. And
I think the communication's off between them.
It's bad.
They just need to work on that.
So bad. So yeah, we see her mom, we see her start to make more excuses. We then see her starting to like cook mac and cheese. She's driving her mom through the drive-through who, I don't know what to think about this mom. Your mom's, you know, giving you crap for being overweight and saying you can't do it, but yet your mom needs to go through the drive-through. I'd give her crap right back. I'd be like, hell no, Mom.
You can't talk back
you want
to
your
parents,
skin flop? So. Yes, I can. I don't know. I just don't get it with these two. Then she goes to the 6-month weigh-in. We get her at the Grand Canyon, and
did she gain weight on this one?
Yeah.
This is where she.
Well, she didn't lose her goal weight, so her goal was to be at 170, and she weighs in at 183. So she misses her goal by a whole 13 pounds. Yeah. Which is really sad. But at this time, we're going to see her hike through the Grand Canyon, and I think.
With how much she was hiked? How much weight was it?
He
100.
Added back her original weight, so he added 107 pounds to make her a total of 290 as she was hiking down the Grand Canyon, and she was so worried about it.
Yeah, but he knew she could do it.
He knew she could do it, physically. And I felt like, and I'm curious to know if this was like a last-minute decision that he made to do that, because she has spiraled so many times. Because she keeps going back to her binging, that he wanted to really emphasize what your 290 felt like, you need to remember what it was like to have that, to weigh that 290.
Yeah, I wonder how worried he was beginning this, just seeing her frame of mind.
Yeah.
I would think he would have tried to get her some counseling first to work through those emotional issues that in the attachment she had to food before he went through with this. But he just kind of...
Well, I wonder if they have, like, if they go through counseling, because there's a lot in this show that we don't see.
I was worried that this one that she probably wasn't going to get through with, but...
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because I was tweeted by Michelle Renee, and she said kind of the same thing about this being like an emotional issue. She said, I fear this could be a quick fix for a woman who needs serious therapy, psychological help. Yeah. She's an addict. I hope she's getting it. So I agree. I think... She's got a serious problem here, and I really, even though, you know, we get to the final weigh-in and she looks amazing, you wonder if it's really fixed. I doubt it. She's going to
be able to
sustain it. Yeah. So she's going through the hike with her full 290 pounds, basically, weighing that much. And she's like, Chris, I can't do it.
I'm going to pass out.
I'm going to pass out.
She grabs
Chris, I'm getting sick. I'm going to faint. And, like, she's like, I think she just wanted to fall on top of Chris.
No, stop.
She kept, like, leaning, like, towards him, like she was going to fall on him. And he kept moving. And she was like, no.
He didn't stop moving.
I'm going
to. No, he didn't.
I'm telling you. That's what I saw. I don't know about you guys at home. But
you see such different things.
I know. Totally different opinions. That's what I saw. I don't know if that's true.
No,
but
it wasn't
that's
true.
What I'm imagining. Because seriously.
It was hot out there, okay?
You. It's a good thing you're not a food addict. Exactly.
Back up.
I really thought Chris was going to give in a little bit and be like, okay.
Because he knew physically that she could do that. He said he was like, just mentally he was going to have to break her through that barrier. And I think she needed that. She needed that in order to get through 100%. Phase 3.
I thought it was great because I kind of thought he was going to let her take it off because he was like talking to her about it, about the weight. I know. Shows how much I know my Chris Powell.
They were almost there, too. There was the finish line
and
right there.
He basically just said, you know, make it to the finish line, get down this hike, and leave it there. Mm-hmm. And I love that because he gave her one extra goal, told her that she was going to leave this there, let it go, and that would be a really big moment. And she's like crying, like we see her all the time. And she says that she hates herself for wasting so much of her life. And I thought,
I love when she said that.
Yeah, I did too.
It makes you really think, like, you see so much life pass you by, and she's like, I hate that.
It made me at least feel like she was really realizing what she has done to herself and what she needs to do, you know, to kind of get out of it. But still, like, I still question her strength.
It is, and it's like pulling yourself out of a ditch. Yeah. You're clawing your way out. She put double her weight on herself through years.
Yeah,
her whole life, and that's like crawling out of a ditch. Like,
yeah, it's bad. Yeah. So she hikes down, leaves her weight, hikes back up in half the time, which is awesome.
She was running up that hill.
Thank God. So then Chris gives her the new goal to lose at least 33 pounds in the last phase to be at 150 or less. The best part, and I think Chris made this decision based on how Trina was doing, he said, you have the choice to come home with me to Arizona or to go home. And she decides to go with him. Thank God.
Doesn't she decide to go? At this point, she decides to go home for the last 3 weeks.
No, she goes home with Chris. No. This isn't in the last 3 weeks. This is going into the last phase. This is when we see her go home with Chris Powell. With Heidi, and she's training with Heidi and Chris at their home. And we see her drop tons of weight. She looks like she's really succeeding.
That's right.
Finally in the game, finally focused. You can see it coming off of her. She's looking really athletic. She's looking really strong.
She's like Heidi, and when Heidi's showing her those moves, she's like, "Oh, honey, I don't do that."
I know, right? Heidi's like, "Yes, you do, and you will go." Yeah. So we see her go through this, and then she shows us her skin. So ready for this skin removal. It was like
she looked like a perfect candidate at that time.
Oh, 100%. So then I think she weighs in, with Chris Powell to see if she would be a good candidate. She weighs in at 149 pounds, so already losing her full goal. She already reached her entire goal. So, of course, he's thinking she's going to be the perfect candidate, and she gets the green light from the doctor. Then after that is when she has a choice of either going back with Chris or going home. And this is just for like 4 weeks or 3 to 4 weeks.
Yes, 3 weeks.
I think 3 weeks, yeah. And she chooses to go home.
Bad
why?
choice.
You've already been with Chris for so long. Like, why not just stay there and stick it out?
Yeah.
She
missed her family. I can understand that. She'd been away from her family for
or did she miss her cupboard full of mac and cheese? Yeah, I agree with you. She missed her family.
She made a bad choice. And I kind of think Chris should have, going into that, should have known what was going to happen, the backslide.
Well, he did. I think he did. I think that's why he gave her the choice. But he has to give her the choice. He can't make that decision for her, because when this is done, she's going to go home and she's going to have to know how to do it. And it's better to learn how to do it at home when you have at least Chris to call. Yeah. You know, you have these at-home trainers, you have this gym. Yeah, he does. So better to learn how to do it then than go home after the entire, you know, journey and not have the tools to live at home, you know? Yeah. But then we see her go into her normal little roundabout.
It's snowing. It's
snowing, so I don't want to go out.
It's a lot of snow. I'm going to give her that.
No,
okay,
you're not going to give her that. No.
It was a lot of snow. That's dangerous. I don't drive in snow. I'm from Texas.
This is not about driving.
I don't drive. She had
Lina, she has a gym in her home.
Okay, to be on her side again, she had 3 equipment pieces in that gym.
That's all you need. That is all you need. She's got not just 3, she has weights. She's got resistance things. You need to run. There's so many weights you could do without.
Outside is so more motivation.
That's fine, but when you can't do it,
I'm not giving her excuses.
You are.
I'm not.
Okay, good.
Because
she has none.
Yeah.
She likes to make some, but she has none. Yeah. So she makes all these excuses. Oh, I wanted to go outside, but I'm not really going to. It's snowing. Oh, I haven't really gotten to the gym, but the gym is in my home, which she fails to recognize. It's horrible. She starts eating again. Like they show her family sitting at dinner with steak and like potatoes, and they're like covering their food.
That's not funny. Like
no,
that's.
They don't care. They don't care. They know who she is. They know she's not doing this, which is sad, and so they're not putting all their effort into it either, which is, it's really sad. So then she goes, I think this is a first, I think, for the show. She goes to her surgery day, goes to the doctors.
And she acts like nothing is wrong. Like she hasn't gained any weight.
Well,
and you can clearly see it.
Yeah, Chris walks in and he's like, basically notices, okay, she's gained some weight. Yeah. So they weigh her at the doctors. Oh my God. And she gains, what did she gain?
32 pounds in 3 weeks.
Up at 181. And you could tell, like, when they weighed her, she, like, didn't want them to say it out loud. You know, like, she was like, and then when he says it, she's like, oh, well, I drank 2 gallons of water.
2 gallons of water
or 2
doesn't
bottles.
give you 3. I wouldn't have 8 today. Yeah, if you ate today.
Yeah, that's what she said. She sits down and, like, if I would have known I was going to be weighted, I wouldn't have eaten today. And she doesn't look Chris in the face. At first, like when she's saying that, and Chris is just kind of like looking at her family's looking at her, and no, I'm sorry.
When she keeps talking about this water that she drank, that's 32 pounds in 3 weeks.
Yeah, 2 bottles of water, put that on the scale, that's not 32 pounds. It's not going to do 32 pounds to you.
To do, unless you just sat down on your bum.
And ate all day long.
All day.
But her family looked shocked. Why did they look shocked? Wouldn't they know?
And maybe they didn't think it was I don't think even Chris was like 30. Even the doctor was like, how do you gain 32 pounds in 3 weeks? That just doesn't happen.
And she's like saying all these things, you know, oh, maybe it's this, or I ate and that. And she's kind of has a smile on her face. And I don't know if it's like what she does when she's lying. Yeah. Because she's clearly lying.
And lying to herself.
Lying to Chris. Yeah. And she's just, I'm sorry. If I were Chris Powell at that very moment, I don't know what I would want to do with this lady.
I would just want to walk out.
I would want to be like, you know what? You are giving up on yourself. Do you want me to give up on you as well? Because if you don't, I need to see something. And she just wasn't doing anything. It was just so... I made me angry. The Twitter sphere was blowing up. Everyone's like, 32 pounds?
That's ridiculous amount of weight.
Oh, she said something about like, maybe I'm eating, or maybe I'm not eating enough.
How do you come to that conclusion?
Yeah.
How did you come to that conclusion? I wish Chris, I was like, well, tell us how.
Yeah, let's do the math and the science here. That's really not possible.
They was like, you have to intake. The doctor, I love the way the doctor broke it down. The intake of food that's not coming out.
Yeah.
The intake of food and you're not working out.
Yeah.
Like that
doesn't work.
Doesn't
I mean,
work.
I get that there are people that slow their metabolism when they don't eat enough, and that can create weight gain because you're not working it. Like, I get that. But you're not going to gain 32 pounds in 3 weeks. Like, you might have, like, I don't know, maybe water weight, bloating. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but no, she's wrong. It doesn't matter. It was shocking. And you know what? I was glad that the doctor told her she can't get that surgery. I was glad. I felt like, you know what? That's what you did to yourself. That's what you deserve. Like, you need to see what you're doing to yourself.
You could tell when she took off her shirt and it was thick. The fat was thick again. And that's not a good candidate for skin removal at all. I was
like, we opened with the song, what goes around comes around, right back on the scale. It's horrible. So Chris then works out with her, and he's
mad.
He's mad, and he says, you know what, she's not going to say this in front of her family. I'm going to get it out of her. And he's talking to her, and like, I'm just seeing this scene play out on like a bad comedy. Sad. I know. I'm not trying to laugh at her, but I just don't buy her dramatic.
It's not
attitude.
the dramatic so much. It's, I mean, you know, he's having her work out while confessing this. I called it the confessional. Yeah. And she's saying, he's like, what happened? He keeps yelling at her, what happened? She's like,
it was my birthday.
It was my birthday, damn it. And she's saying all this stuff.
My birthday. I ate popcorn.
I went to the movies.
I know. It's like,
come
on.
Yeah.
Get it together. Like, I just feel like she doesn't, like, she wants to make excuses. Yeah. She doesn't want to succeed. That's what it looks like, at least in this phase. It's like, you do not want this if your excuse is, I went to the movies. And you cannot say that and in a way that people should feel sorry for you. You went to the movies and you can't go to the movies because you eat popcorn. Like,
yeah, I don't ever go to the movies and eat popcorn. I just don't like
I do.
I don't. Well,
I mean, I don't all the time.
She got a large one. She's like, I have to get a large. She didn't just say. She goes, I have to get a large popcorn when I go to the movie. I have to. Yeah. You don't have to do anything.
No. And the thing is, okay, I don't eat popcorn every time I go to the movies, and that's really beside the point. The point is if you're going to choose to do it, that's fine. Choose to do it and own up to it, but work it off. If this is what your goal is, if you want to lose weight so bad, say, I'm going to have a little popcorn. Or if you can't do that, if you know you're an addict, then don't do it. Don't put yourself in that position. Or
I thought that was
you can't cry about it to me.
I'm sorry. I cannot. Like, I've never heard anyone say that.
And crying. It's not even just saying it. She was crying and throwing things like, I can't go to the movies. It's like...
You're not going to let go of that part.
I'm not. I just see that playing out on like The Soup or something. Like,
they would rip that up on The Soup.
And I feel for Trina. I really want her to succeed. And I think she seems like such an amazing person. And I think this is why I was so frustrated because she deserves it and she's not going after it. And she has this amazing opportunity right in front of her. Yeah. And every little phase, she just threw it away.
But at the end, she did look amazing.
She does look amazing. Before we get to the end, before we get to the very, very exciting finale, I wanted to thank you guys for subscribing to iTunes, reminding you to subscribe to iTunes if you do love our podcast. Please subscribe, and then you never have to download it again. Rate and comment. Please give us those 5 stars that we so love to see. Let us know what you think about the show, about our commentary, about your own personal weight loss. I want to say thank you to Erin on YouTube. She's been commenting on our podcast for the last couple of weeks and really sharing her story, you know, and she's kind of suffered through her own, what's the word? Not food addiction, obviously, but her own weight loss issues. Yeah. And it's just been really great to see that and for her to be sharing that. So thank you, Erin, for commenting. Please continue to comment. Feel free to call in if you're ever watching us live. We love to hear these stories. And for those of you who have a story and maybe haven't commented, please do that, because I think there are people that watch this and they can relate. to these episodes, and you never know who's going to comment right back and share the same story, and it can kind of become its own little support group together. So leave some comments on iTunes, subscribe, and go to YouTube. And of course, while we're talking about iTunes, I do want to remind you guys, for those of you who have not downloaded it yet, to get The Adventures of Serial Buddies. Yay. Lina, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a hysterical comedy,
very funny,
a film by the AfterBuzz creators, Kevin Undergaro and Maria Menounos. And it's fantabulous. You need to download it. Go to iTunes, or you can go to serialbuddies.com, like all of us have, and let us know what you think. And now we can get to the final weigh-in.
Finale.
Yes.
So her final weigh-in. Mm-hmm. What does she hit? What's the goal? Is 149, right? Or she goes back and forth?
Well, 150 or less. Basically, because she had to go back.
Yeah.
She went up to 183 or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. No, not 183. 181. She went back up to 181. So she put on 32 pounds. Now she needed to redo all of that. So her goal is to still be at 150 or less, and she weighs in at 145. Amazing. Super exciting. She came out looking red hot in her red hot dress.
Yes, she looked amazing.
And
she looked like Anna Nicole Smith.
Oh my God, somebody tweeted that.
She did look like
Did you tweet that? Somebody else tweeted that. That's funny you said that.
I told you. I said she looks like Anna Nicole Smith in her face. She has
oh my God, somebody else tweeted that. Yeah. So that's funny.
Her husband was like, whoa, my wife is so high.
It's going down.
Chris Powell and the husband were like, high five. Yeah. He was like, I'll give her back to you.
I know, right? Well, see who Chris Powell's going home to, so yeah, he's got no problems there. Yeah. I know, right?
See your wife, Chris.
Yeah, one of the best things about this particular final weigh-in was obviously not just Trina's success, but the success of all the nurses that she works with. It was so awesome to see them come in one at a time, so motivated, looking all dolled up in their hot dresses, really feeling good about themselves. And I think the best part about this is that they are all friends. They're going to continue to do this together. And I think anybody that's on a serious weight loss journey really needs that. And all of these women we saw when they weighed in, they need that. It's not like they need to lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds. They all have some serious weight to lose. One of them we saw lost about 93 pounds.
Yeah.
She ran out. I remember they opened the doors. Energy. She ran out. I think she was so excited, and you could tell she's lost 93 pounds. She is still so motivated. Like, she's somebody that I look at and I'm like, I'm confident that woman is going to keep going.
She said it's not over. The journey's not over yet. She was like, I'm not done. And that's what you want to hear. Like, Trina should have been saying the same thing. Like, I'm not done. I'm still transforming and helping these ladies.
As we're saying this about, that lady's energy and motivation and enthusiasm, it makes me think to the very beginning of this episode with Trina. Every episode of this season so far, I'm like, oh my gosh, like Ryan's episode or Jamie or even Merbod, like I'm looking at them and I'm like, they really want this. They seem so confident. They seem so motivated. I know Merbod really struggled. But when they were given a challenge, they weren't crying about it. They weren't putting it down. They were accepting it head on. And it's funny that, I can think to that. And then I think of Trina's beginning of her episode. And I can't say that even when I first saw her that I was very confident that she wanted it.
Yeah, in the beginning. But I think by the end, she kind of had me convinced that she was going to stick to this, not only for herself, but for the other nurses who she was helping out too. And she sees that they're relying on her as well. So I
love that.
See that. And I think Chris did that for me. He's so smart.
He is smart.
He did that on purpose.
Chris Powell that we love so much.
Yeah. He saw that. Yeah. That's going to help her through this whole journey. Through her journey. I think
you're right. Yeah.
Struggling with her weight.
And I think, too, she's getting that extra boost of confidence knowing that they are kind of looking to her for support. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She has been facing these people that tell her that she can't do it. And it just seems like she doesn't believe in herself. But now she's going to work every day with people that not only believe in her, but they're her friends. And they're actually looking to her for some guidance.
And she loves that.
And then they're going to be her support right back because as they're being successful in their weight loss journeys, they're motivated. They're going to be, that much more motivated to encourage her. Yeah. So it just kind of it's just a ripple effect of happiness and endorphins, and just keep it going
around.
around.
And around.
Can I get a round of endorphins in here?
This is our theme song, around and around.
Before we head off, I want to hear, do we have some news and gossip?
Yes, Mirbad.
Yes, Mirbad. I think so.
He's so hot again. Lucky fiance. He is engaged.
He is engaged. We saw that he tweeted this last Wednesday.
Chris.
Yes. He got down on one knee and proposed to Mona. She's gorgeous. I'm so excited. Mirbad, if you're watching, if you watch us, I want to talk to you because I want to know how this went down. I want to know how it worked out with her parents, because when we saw him, you know, they didn't really approve. So I'd love to hear about the journey from then to now. And so excited for you guys. Big congratulations to them.
Yeah. And also, you can ask Heidi anything by tweeting her. She has a new little thing called Ask Heidi. So you can ask her stuff about working out, tips on how to, you know, eat right. I love how they talk about nutrition on the show and how much you should eat, like a handful of this or this much bread would do.
Yeah, they use like a deck of cards is equal to this amount, and it's really great.
You shouldn't have to starve yourself or anything. You should be able to eat what you want to eat in moderation. So you can always ask Heidi. I love it, though. And
I love it. We should ask Heidi something. What can we ask her? I don't know. We're going to have to think about that. I'm going to ask her some stuff during this week, and then maybe we'll have some answers to report next week. I like it. All right. I think that wraps us up for this episode. And my name is Lauren Mendoza. You can follow me on Twitter at LO_VALLES or on Instagram at LOVALLES. And Lina?
And I'm Lina Green. You can follow me at just Lina Green on Instagram and on my Twitter.
Yay. Thanks, guys.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.